morning and welcome to the Otis-Bison High School. Tonight's contestants featuring the Central Plain Oilers and the Otis-Bison Cougars. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and Otis-Bison High School appreciates your support in interscholastic activities and the principal objective. You are reminded that this is an educational event and a practice of good sportsmanship is encouraged by all. Please stand and honor the American flag with the playing of the national anthem by the Otis-Bison Pep Band, under the direction of Jenny Clayton. First up for the Oilers, number 3, Brianna. First up for the Cougars, number 2, Zoe Schwint. Next up for the Oilers, number 5, Cassidy Nixon. Next up for the Cougars, number 13, Johanna Baldwin. Next up for the Oilers, you have number 11, Madison McGeer. Next up for the Cougars, you have number 14, Macy Wilson. Next up for the Oilers, you have number 15, Kayla Metro. Next up for the Cougars, you have number 15, Haley Morrison. Last up for the Oilers, you have number 21, Reese McGeer. Last up for the Cougars, you have number 24, Indiana Rodriguez. The Lady Oilers are coached by Pat Slow, assisted by Jim Ryan. The Lady Cougars are coached by Jane Winter and tonight assisted by Janelle Meyer.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Otis-Bison Cougar broadcast. The game here, well, the tip-off will begin here shortly. Ball is up. The ball goes over to the Cougars. Abby Rodriguez with the rebound, bringing it back over to the Cougar side. She's going to pass it over to Johanna. Now over to Haley. Now back over to Abby. Back to Haley over to Johanna, who's at the top of the key. Back to Haley, who's at the close wing. Ball intended for Zoe Schwinn, but goes out of bounds. The turnover to the Oilers. Number 3, Brianna has the ball, throwing it over to number 5, Cassidy, going in, back to Brianna, going in for 2 points, but it's no good. Ball's thrown over to number 5 again. Cassidy, looking at the top of the key, now going to the far wing, going to bring the ball over back to Brianna. Back to over to 21. Reese at the now over to Brown. Back to 11. Going 11. Madison McGear going in for 2 points, which is good for 2. Johanna Bowman with the ball now, bringing it back down the court, throwing it over to Abby at the top of the key. Now over to Haley going in for 2 points, and it is good. Putting it in the basket. Number 3, Brianna, bringing the ball back up the court. Gonna bring it over to number 11, Madison. Madison is apparently caught traveling. Turnover to the Cougars. Ball is thrown into Abby Rodriguez. Now back to Johanna. Johanna's finding herself at the close wing. Now over to Haley at the low post, going for 2 points, but there's a call on the court. Black 21, or not Black, but the Oilers 21. Reese McGear was caught pushing. Macy Wilsey will be throwing the ball in. Oh, intended for Johanna, but looks like Brianna for the Oilers steals it and brings it up the court and putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Abby Rodriguez with the ball now, going to bring it down the court. Finding herself at the low corner, or not the low corner, but the far corner. Looks like there's a call on the court. Number 25, Karma Stellet, was caught holding. Macy Wilsey throws the ball in to Johanna Ballman. Johanna's going to find herself at the far wing, but the ball is stolen by Brianna, bringing it back up the court. Going to put it in the basket for 2 points, but it's no good. Macy Wilsey with the rebound, going to bring it over to Johanna, bringing it back down the court. Over to Abby now at the top of the key. Now over to Haley, who's at the close corner, now at the low post, but it looks like there's a call on the court again. Number 21, Reese McGear, was caught holding, or not holding, but blocking. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in. Over to Haley at the top of the key. Over to Johanna now. Johanna's going to bring it over to Zoe Schwinn at the far wing. Back over to Haley. Now back to Johanna, who's also at the far wing. Johanna going in for 3 points. Just barely missing. Number 3, Brianna with the ball, now bringing it back up the court, putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Johanna passing the ball back over to Abby, making their way back down the court. Looks like there's another call. Number 10, Addison, throws the ball in to number 3, Rihanna. Over to number 5 now, Cassidy. Cassidy throws over to Brown and now over to the low post to Madison. Going in for 2 points, but it's no good. Johanna Bowman with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Over to Abby now. Over to Haley, who's at the close corner. Over to top of the key to Johanna Bowman. Back to Abby, or not Abby, over to Haley. Going to throw the ball over, intended for Johanna, but Brianna is there to steal it, bringing it back up the court. Looks like there's a call.
Hey, good follow, way to crash.
Number 24 for the Cougars had a call. That would be Abigail. The first point is good for the Oilers. The ball is up again. The second shot is good. Abby throws the ball over to Johanna. Johanna is going to bring it back down the court. Throwing the ball over to Haley at the close corner. Over to Abby now. Or Zoe Schwint. But the ball is turned over to the Oilers. Brianna going in for 2 points, but it's no good. Abigail with the rebound, bringing it back down the court. She's going to throw the ball over to Johanna, finding herself at the top of the key. Johanna's going to throw over to Haley at the close wing. Over to top of the key to Macy Olsen now. Over to Abby, who's at the far wing. Back over to Haley. Over to Johanna, who's at the... Now back to Haley. Over to Macy Wilsey. Back over to Johanna going Gonna throw the ball back to Haley at the top of the key, but it looks like Haley was caught traveling. Number 10, Addison, will be throwing the ball in to Brianna. She's making her way back up the court, gonna hand the ball off to Cassidy. Now back to Brianna, going in and throwing the ball into number 11, Madison, going in for 2 points, which is good. Macy bring the ball back down the court, but is almost stolen by the Oilers. Throwing it over to Abby now, back to Johanna. Finds herself at the far corner. There's a call on the court. The ball will remain with the Cougars. Johanna will be throwing the ball in to over to Haley. Now intended for Zoe, but the ball slips out of her hands and rolls out of the court. Number 10, Addison, will be throwing the ball back in to Brianna. She's going to bring the ball back up the court. Passing it over to Addison. Addison's going to try to go for 2 points, but it looks like there's a call against the Cougars. White 15, Haley Morrison was caught holding. Brianna will be throwing the ball in to number 5, Cassidy, going in for 2 points, just barely missing. Macy with the rebound, throwing it over to Johanna, making their way back down the court. Back over to Abby. Now over to Haley, who's at the top of the key. Over to Johanna. Looks like Johanna was caught traveling in the process of throwing the ball over to Macy. Looks like number 15, Kayla Metro, will be coming in for number 3, Brianna Hammock. Addison throws the ball in to number 5, Cassidy. Cassidy's going to throw it to number 11, Madison, that is. Now over to number 10, which is Addison. Now over to 33, Marlin. Over to number 5, Cassidy, going in for 2 points, and it is no good, but it looks like she rebounds the ball. Going to throw it over to number 15, Kayla. She goes in for 3, but is no good, but Cassidy is there with a rebound, putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Johanna Bauman with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Looks like there's a call against the Oilers. The call is against Cassidy Nixon, holding. Or pushing, one of the two. Johanna Bauman will be throwing the ball into Abigail. Abby's going to throw it back to Johanna at the far wing, going to the top of the key now, over to Zoe Schwint. Zoe Schwint is going to throw it, intended for Haley, but it looks like Zoe receives the ball again, now throwing it over to Macy, now over to Abby. Abby's going to throw it over to Haley, who's at the close wing, now over to Johanna, who's at the close corner. Johanna throws it over to Haley, going to throw it over to Macy. Macy's going to try to go for 2 points, but is no good. Number 5, Cassidy, having the ball, bringing it back down or up the court, throwing it over to number 10, Addison. Addison's going to bring the ball over to number 15, Kayla. Kayla's going in for 2 points, just putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Abby with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to Johanna. Johanna's going to bring the ball over to Haley, who's at the close wing. Haley's going to throw it all the way over to Abby, who's at the far corner. Now over to Macy, who's at the top of the key. Now over to Haley, who's back at the close corner. Back over to Abby at the far wing. Back to Johanna. Now over to Haley, who's at the far corner, at the close corner. now at the low post, but it looks like she steps out of the court. Turnover to the Oilers. Number 2, Molly Steiner comes in for number 10, Addison. Ogle. Sorry if I said that wrong. But it looks like the ball is thrown in to number 5, Cassidy Nixon, bringing the ball up the court. Find herself over at the far wing. Handing the ball off to number 33, Maryland, I should say.
Cougars, number 34 was caught pushing.
Number 5, Cassidy throws the ball over to Madison. Madison throws it over to number 15, Kayla. Over to number 2, Molly. Going to bring it over to the far corner to number 33, Maryland, going in for 3 points, which is good for 3. Johanna brings the ball down the court, throwing it over to Haley. Back to Johanna at the top of the key. Hand it off to Destiny Mitchell over there at the far corner. Over to Macy. Now over to Abby at the top of the key. Back over to Destiny at the far wing. Over to Johanna. Johanna's going to throw it over to Haley, but looks like it is stopped by the Oilers. Number 5, Cassidy with the ball, and now bringing it back up the court. Over to number 33, Maryland. Going to bring the ball over to the lower post. But it looks like it is stolen by the Cougars. Abby with the ball, now bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to Johanna. Johanna's going to throw it over to Haley at the far corner, or at the close corner. Going to try to go for 2 points, but it's no good. Your score is Cougars 2, Oilers 17. Both teams return to the court and get ready to play. Reese McGear will be throwing the ball in to Brianna. Now over to number 5, Cassidy. Back over to number 15, Kayla. Going to throw the ball over to number 3, Brianna, throwing the ball now over to number 11, Madison. Going to try to go for 2 points, but there's a call.
Cougars, 14 was caught holding.
Ball is up. This first shot is good for the Oilers. Madison will have one more opportunity for a point for her team. Ball is up. The shot is good for another point for the Oilers. Macy throws the ball over to Abby. Abby tries to throw the ball over to Johanna, but is no good. Oilers receive it, and number 5 throws the ball over to number 3, Brianna, going in for putting the ball in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Abby throws the ball over to Johanna, making their way back down the court. Johanna's going to throw the ball over to Abby, now over to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Haley, but the ball is ripped from her hands and handed over to the Oilers. Brianna with the ball now, bringing it over to the low post, but is going to try to throw the ball to Madison. Madison throws it over to Kayla. Kayla throws it over to the close wing to number 21, Reese McGear, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Looks like there is a call on the court.
Black 11 was caught holding.
Johanna Baumann will be throwing the ball over to Abby. Abby's going to throw the ball over to Destiny Mitchell, but she doesn't see the ball and it falls out of the court. Turnover to the Oilers. Reese McGeer will be throwing the ball into Brianna, bringing the ball up the court. Now back to Reese, finding herself at the high post. Ball is handed off to Brianna. Going in for 3 points from the close wing, but is no good. Ball falls out of court. Turnover to the Cougars. Abby receives the ball. Now back over to Johanna. Johanna's going to bring it back down the court. Going to throw the ball over to Haley at the close wing. Now over to Destiny Mitchell, going in for 2 points, and it is good. Number 3, Brianna having the ball, bringing it back up the court. She is going to throw the ball over to Cassidy, who's at the top of the key. Back to Brianna now, who's also at the top of the key. Over to number 15, Kayla. Handing the ball off to Reese. Now over to Cassidy again, going into the lower post, going to try to go for 2 points, and it is good for 2. Destiny Mitchell receiving the ball, throwing it over to Johanna. Now over to Abby, bringing the ball back down the court. She accidentally throws it to Madison. Now the ball is with number 3, Brianna, going in for 2 points, but it's no good. Number 5, Cassidy with the rebound. But it looks like there's a call on the court. The refs are discussing their options. Turnover to the Cougars. Johanna throws the ball over to Abby, now over to Haley, but the ball is now over to Destiny Mitchell, handing the ball over to Abby now. Abby's going to throw it to the top of the key, back over to Destiny, now over to Abby, over to Johanna, now over to Haley, who's at the high post. Ball intended for Abby, but the ball slips out of her hands and goes into the crowd of the Cougars. Turnover to the Oilers. Brianna with the ball, now bringing it back up the court. Brianna's going to bring the ball up to the lower post, going to try to go for 2 points, but there's a call on the court.
Black 14 was caught holding.
Number 3, Brianna Hemmick will have the opportunity to get a point or 2 for her team. First shot is no good. She'll have one more opportunity. Second shot is up, and it is good for a point. Destiny Mitchell with the ball, now handed over to Haley. Haley's going to throw the ball over to Johanna, who's at the close wing. Now over to Zoe, who's at the lower post. Ball is intended for Johanna, but number 21, Reese, steals it and throws it over to number 5, Cassidy, and it slips out of her hands and falls out of the court, and turnover to the Cougars. Ball is thrown in to Abby, and now back to Johanna. Johanna's going to bring the ball over to Haley, who's at the close wing. Over to Abby now. Back to Johanna, who's at the close wing as well. Going to throw the ball over to Haley, who's at the close post, going in for 3 points, and it is no good. Number 5, Cassidy with the rebound, throwing the ball over to Madison, bringing the ball up the court. Going to throw it over to number 5 again, Cassidy. Now over to number 15, Kayla. Kayla's going to throw the ball to the intersection to number 11, Madison. But Destiny Mitchell steals it and throws it over to Abby, making it now over to Johanna, bringing it back down the court. Looking at the top of the key, now over to Destiny Mitchell. Also at the top of the key, now over to Haley. Haley's going to try to go for 2 points, and it is good for 2. Brianna with the ball, bringing it back up the court. She's going to throw it over to number 5, Cassidy. Now over to number 15, Kayla, going in for 3 points, just barely missing. Johanna Bowman with the rebound, bringing it back down the court. Johanna's going to throw the ball over to Destiny at the close wing. Now back over to Abby. Abby's going to throw over to Johanna, who's at the far wing. Looks like there is a call on the court.
Black number 3 was caught holding.
Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in for the Cougars. Ball is thrown in to Destiny Mitchell. Now over to Zoe Schwint at the top of the key. Over to Destiny Mitchell, who's at the far wing. Now over to Johanna as well. Now over to Abby, who is at the top of the key. Over to Zoe Schwint, who's at the far wing. Now over to the far corner, but the ball rolls out of court. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in to Zoe Schwint. Looking at the top of the key. Now over to Abby, who's also at the top of the key. Over to Zoe Schwint again. Now over to Haley, who's at the close corner. Over to Destiny, who's at the top of the key. Gonna throw it over to Abby now. But looks like Johanna receives it instead. Now over to Zoe Schwint, who's at the close wing. Zoe Schwint is gonna hand it off to Destiny Mitchell. Now over to Abby. Abby's going to throw it back over to Johanna, who's at the close wing. Johanna's going to try to go for 2 points, but it's no good. Looks like there's a call on the court.
Hey, good hustle, way to be there. Composure.
Number 3, Brianna with the ball. Now bringing it back up the court. She's going to throw the ball over to Cassidy, who's going to try to go for 2 points, and it is no good. Call against the Cougars.
Number 15 was caught pushing.
Number 3, Brianna will have the not opportunity, but she will be throwing the ball back into the Oilers. The ball is thrown into Madison, going in for 2 points, which is good for 2. Destiny Mitchell with the ball now, throwing it over to Abby. Going to bring it back down the court. Abby throws it over to Johanna. Now over to Abby. Not Abby, but over to Haley now. Haley's going to find herself near the top of the key. Ball is thrown over to Johanna. Back to Haley, going in for 3 points, and it is good for 3. Brianna with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Going to throw the ball over to number 5, Cassidy. Cassidy's going to throw the ball back over to number 10, Addison. Addison's going to throw it to number 3. Over to number 3. Now over to number 11, Madison is going to go for 2 points, and which is good for 2. Looks like there's a call on the court as well.
That was an intentional foul on number 2.
Madison will have the opportunity to get a point for her team. Ball is up. The shot is good for a Oilers point. Johanna with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to Zoe Schwint, but it looks like the Oilers try stealing it, but it falls out of the court. Ball will remain with the Cougars. Johanna's going to throw the ball over to Macy Wilsey. Over to Haley at the far corner. Looks like the ball is thrown over to Macy, but looks like there is a call on the court. The ball will remain with the Cougars. Johanna will be throwing the ball back into Macy Wilsey. Macy's going to throw it over to Abby at the top of the key. Back to Macy, also at the top of the key. Ball's thrown, handed off to Abby, now over to Haley at the close wing. Number 3, Brianna steals the ball and bringing it back up the court, putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Looks like the Cougars call for a timeout, 30 seconds. Looks like both teams return to the court and get ready to play again. There is a minute and 36 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in, over to Abby, back to Johanna, bringing them back down the court. Johanna's going to check that. Looks like there's a call on the court. The call is against number 10, Addison Ogle. Looks like Johanna will have the opportunity to get a point or two for her team. Ball is up. The shot is no good. The Oilers with the ball now. Number 11, Madison with it. Going to bring it over to Brown, going in for 3 points, just barely missing. The ball doesn't go out of court, but it looks like number 10, Addison with the ball now. But it looks like number 15, Haley, steals it and hands it over to Abby, bringing it back down the court. Abby's going to throw it over to Macy, who's going to throw it over to Zoe Schwint. Going to throw it over to Haley Morrison, looking at the close wing. Haley, looking at the top of the key, going to throw it over to Johanna at the close corner. Johanna is going to throw it over to Haley, also at the close corner, going in for 3 points, but is no good. Not Cassidy with the ball, going to throw it over to Brianna, going in for 2 points, which is good for 2. Number 24, Abby with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Going to try to throw the ball over to Haley, which she is successful.
Cougars call a 30-second timeout.
The Cougars return to the court. As well do the Oilers. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball in to the Cougars. Haley Morrison receiving the ball, bringing it back down the court to the Cougars side, over to Zoe Schwint, located at the far wing. Going to try to throw over to Macy, but is stolen by the Oilers, but it looks like they get it back. Your score is Cougars 9, Oilers 33. We will be back in about maybe 10, 15 minutes or so for the second half. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second half of the girls' game. The ball is thrown in to Brianna. Brianna is going to throw the ball over to Reese. Reese throws back to Brianna. Brianna is now located at the close wing, handed off to Cassidy, going in for 3 points, and it is no good. Macy Wilson with the rebound. We're going to bring it back up the court. We're going to hand it over to Johanna. Now over to Haley at the far corner. Back to Johanna. Johanna's going to throw it over to Macy at the close corner, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. The ball falls out of the court and turnover to the Oilers. Number 21, Reese, will be throwing the ball in to number 3, Brianna. Brianna is going to bring the ball over to number 5, Cassidy, who's located at the top of the key now. Going to go down and bring the ball over to number 11, Madison. Madison's going to bring the ball over to Brianna again. Back to Madison. Over to Kayla now. Back to over to Brianna. Looking at the far wing. At the top of the key now, going in for 3 points, which is good for 3. So, check that. It's good for 2. Abby with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Going to throw it over to Haley. Looking at the far wing. Back to Johanna, who's at the top of the key. Over to Macy. Back to Haley. Haley's going to find herself also at the top of the key. Back to Macy. Going over to Johanna at the far corner. Or not, over to the far wing, my bad. Ball intended for Haley at the lower post, but ball slips out of her hands and falls out of the court. Brianna with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Brianna with the ball, going to bring it back down, going to throw it over to number 5, Cassidy. Cassidy's going to throw it back to Brianna, located at the far corner, or a close corner. Back to Cassidy, who's located at the top of the key. Looks like there's a call against the Cougars. Number 15, Haley Morrison was caught pushing. Brianna throws the ball over to Cassidy. Back to Brianna, going for 2. Johanna Ballman throwing the ball over to Abby, bringing it back up the court. Abby's going to throw it back to Johanna. Johanna's going to throw it over to Zoe Schwinn, looking at the lower post. Going to throw the ball over to Johanna. Johanna's going to go for 3 points, and it is good for 3. Madison throws the ball back over to Brianna, bringing the ball up the court, or not up, but down the court. Back over to Cassidy now, bringing it into the center of the court, but tries to put it in for 2 points, but is no good. Ball rolls out of the court, and it is a turnover to the Cougars. Abby with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Over to Johanna now at the close wing. Over to Zoe Schwinn at the lower post, but is stolen by the Oilers. But there's a call on the court. Ball will remain with the Cougars. Johanna will be throwing the ball in over to Zoe Schwinn. But it looks like it is stolen by the Oilers. Number 5, Cassidy with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Over to Brianna, going in for 3 points, but it's no good, just barely missing. Number 10, Addison with the ball, with the rebound. But there's a call on the court. Ball will remain with the Oilers. Brianna will be throwing the ball in to number 5, Cassidy. Now back over to number 21, Reese McGee, going in for 3 points, it looks like, but it's no good. Johanna Ballman with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. She's going to throw it over to Macy Wilsey at the far corner. Macy going up to the top of the key, but now at the far corner. Not over to the far wing, I should say. Now over to Haley at the close wing. Haley's going to throw it back over to Macy, now over to Johanna at the top of the key, now over to the far corner, over to Haley Morrison. Haley's going to go to Johanna now. Going to try to go for 3 points, but it's no good. Number 5, Cassidy with the ball now, throwing it over to number 15, Kayla, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Ball rolls out of the court, but looks like at the last second, one of the Cougars touch it, and it will remain with the Oilers. Number 3, it looks like we'll be throwing the ball. Number 3, Cassidy throws the ball into number 11, Madison, she puts it up for 2 points, which is good for 2. Abby with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Is going to throw it over to Haley. Haley's going to go to the lower post and try to go for 2 points, but it's no good. Number 11, Madison McGeer with the rebound, going to throw it over to Cassidy Nixon. Going to try to go for 2 points, but it's no good. Turnover to the Cougars. Number 13, Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball in to Abigail Rodriguez, bringing it back up the court. Abby's going to bring the ball over Johanna's way, but looks like one of the Oilers knock it out of the court. The ball will remain with the Cougars. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in. Over to Haley Morrison, looking at the lower post, going to try to go for 2 points, which is good for 2. Number 3, Brianna with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. The ball is handed off to number 5, Cassidy. Cassidy throws it over to number 11, Madison, going and back over to number 5, Cassidy, going to try to go for 2 points, but it's no good. Haley Morrison with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Going to bring it over to Johanna Ballman, looking at the top of the key. Now over to Abby. Now over to Haley at the close corner, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Number 5, Cassidy with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. She's going to bring it over to the close wing. Now over to number 15, Kayla. Back over to Cassidy at the top of the key. Handing it off to number 15, Kayla, but it looks like it rolls out of the court. Turnover to the Cougars. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back into Abby. Looks like number 32, Leela Kenyon, comes in for number 2, Zoe Schwint. Johanna throws the ball back into Abby, making their way back up the court. Back to Johanna. Johanna's going to find herself at the top of the key. Now over to Abby at the far corner. Or now over to Haley. Back over to Macy at the top of the key. Over to Abby once more at the top of the key. Over to Haley at the far wing. Haley is going to try to bring the ball around the top, but it looks like there's a call on the court. Turnover to the Oilers, it looks like. Brianna with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to number 11, Madison. Now over to number 5, Cassidy, located near the top of the key. She's going to bring the ball over to Brianna, going in for 2 points, and it is no good. Macy Wilsey with a rebound, going to bring it back up the court, but she hands it off to Abby. Now over to Johanna, over to Haley at the far corner there. Haley's going to try to go for 3 points, just hits the rim and is no good. Cassidy with the rebound, throwing it over to Kayla, going in for 2 points, and looks like there's a call on the court. Number 15, Haley Morrison, got a holding call on her. Looks like number 15, Kayla Metro, will have the opportunity to get 1 more point for her team. Ball is up. The second shot is good for a Oilers point. Macy throwing the ball in to Abby, making her way back up the court. Going to throw it over to Haley now. Haley's going to throw it over to Abby at the close wing, going in for 2 points, over for 3, but is no good. Looks like there's a call on the court. The ball will remain with the Cougars. Number 33, Marlene comes in for number 15, Kayla Metro. Johanna Bauman will be throwing the ball back in to number 32, but looks like over to 32, Leila Kenyon. Kenyon's going to throw the ball over to Abby. Looks like the ball falls out of the court, and it will remain with the Cougars. Johanna will be throwing the ball back in for the Cougars. Johanna throws it over to Macy, but she's being contested by number 11, Madison McGear. Looks like the ball is now the Oilers. Addison throws the ball in to number 3, Brianna. Handing it off to Cassidy, now back to Brianna. Now over to number 11, Madison. Looks like there's a call on the court. White number 24, Abigail Rodriguez, got a intentional foul called on her. Number Addison throws the ball over to Brenna, going in for 2 points, and it is good for 2. Abby with the ball now, gonna bring it back up the court. Gonna throw it over to Haley Morrison at the far wing, over to Abigail. Abby's gonna bring the ball over to Haley at the top of the key now. Haley going in for 3 points, just barely missing. Leila Kenyon with the rebound. Number 5, Cassidy with the ball now, going to throw it over to number 10, Addison. Addison's going to throw it over to Madison now, but intended for Marlene, but the ball falls out of her hands and goes out of the court. Turnover to the Cougars. Johanna throws the ball in to number 24, Abigail, bringing it back up the court. Abby's going to bring the ball over to Haley, and now looking at the top of the court. Back to Abby. Over to Haley once more at the far corner. Going to throw it over to Abby. Back to Haley going to bring the ball over to Leila Kenyon. Looks like there's a little struggle there on the court, but that is the buzzer. Your score is Cougars 14, Oilers 42. Looks like the Oilers come back in, as well do the Cougars. They get ready for the fourth quarter. The Cougars will be starting off with the ball again this time. Johanna Bauman throws the ball in to Haley Morrison, making her way back up the court. Going to throw it over to Macy Wilsey. Macy's going to throw it back to Johanna at the top of the key. Now over to Destin Mitchell, who's at the far wing. Back to Macy at the top of the key, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Zoe Schwint trying to rebound the ball, but it looks like there is a call on the court. Zoe Schwint was apparently caught pushing. Ball is thrown into Brianna, bringing it back down the court. Going to hand the ball over to number 5, Cassidy. Back to Brianna. Over to number 11, Madison. Madison is going to throw it over to number 21, Reese. Now over to Brianna, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Kayla with the rebound, trying to go for two, but it's also no good. Johanna with the ball, bringing it back up the court. Going to try to bring the ball over to Macy. Back to Johanna, who's at the close wing, going in for 3 points, but it's no good. Zoe Schwinton trying to rebound the ball, but it looks like it goes out of the court. Turnover to the Oilers. Reese throws the ball in over to Brenna. Brenna's going to throw it over to Cassidy. Now over to Reese once again. Over to Madison at the top of the key with Brenna there going in for 3 points. It is no good. Zoe Schwint with the ball now thrown over to Johanna, making her way back up the court. Johanna throws it over to Haley at the far corner, or at the far wing. Looks like there's a call on the court against the Oilers. Number 5, Cassidy Nixon was caught pushing. Johanna Ballman will be throwing the ball back in to Macy Wilsey at the far wing. Macy now finding herself at the top of the key. Going to bring the ball over to Johanna. Johanna's going to bring the ball over to Haley, and she's going to go in for 2 points, but it's no good. Macy Wilsey with the rebound, but it looks like there's a call on the court. Turnover to the Oilers. Reese McGear will be throwing the ball in to Brenna, over to Brenna, bringing the ball back down the court. She's going to hand it over to number 21, Reese McGear. Now over to number 5, Cassidy, going in, bringing the ball over to Madison McGear, going in for 2 points, but it's no good. Looks like there's a call against number 14, Macy Wilsey. Ball is up. The shot is good for a Oilers point. Number 11, Madison McGear, will have one more opportunity for a point for the Oilers. Looks like Marissa Reaver comes in for Macy Wilsey. Ball is up. The second shot is good for the Oilers. Johanna with the ball now, bringing it back down the court, or up the court, I should say. Johanna's going to throw the ball over to Haley at the low post. Looks like there's a call on the court against number 5, which is Cassidy. Nixon was caught pushing. Haley Morrison will have the opportunity to get a point or two for her team. The ball is up. The shot is no good. There is 5 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Haley will have one more chance to get a point for the Cougars. Ball is up. The shot is no good. Number 32. It looks number 33, Marlene with the ball, bringing it back down the court. Gonna head it off to number 15, Kayla. Now over to number 10, Addison. Addison hands it back over to Marlene at the top of the key. Now over to the close corner to number 10, Addison. Back to Marlene. Now over to Kayla again. Over to Brenna going in for 3 points, just barely missing. Johanna Ballman with the rebound, bringing it back up the court. Gonna find herself at the lower post and going in for 2 points, and it is good for 2. Johanna will have the opportunity to get one more point for the Cougars. Looks like Abigail Rodriguez comes in for number 15, Haley Morrison. Ball is up. The shot is good for another Cougar point. Addison throws the ball over to number 33, Marlene. Marlene throws it over to Molly. Now back to Marlene. Now over to Molly once more. Going to throw it all the way over to number 15, Kayla. Over to number 11, Madison. Or not Madison, but over to number 24, Melissa. Over to Melissa. Johanna stealing it, though, but bringing it back up the court. Going to throw over to Abigail at the top of the key. Now over to the close wing to Johanna Ballman. But it looks like she was caught traveling. Number 10, Addison will be throwing the ball in to number 33, Marlene. Now over to number 10, Addison again. Over to Molly. Now over to the close corner, though. Kayla going in for 2 points. Not 2, but over for 3 points, but is no good. Number 10, Addison Oakley with the rebound, trying to put it in for a point or two. Or for 2 points, but is no good. She will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers. Ball is up. The shot is good for a Oilers point. Two minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Ball is up. The shot is no good for the second point. Johanna with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. Going to find herself at the close wing. Now over to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Johanna once more, going in for 3 points, and it is good for 3. Number 33 with the ball now. Marlene with bringing it back down the court. It's going to throw it over to Kayla. Kayla's going to throw it over to number 33. Marlene going in for 3 points, and it is good for 3. Abby throwing the ball over to Johanna, making their way back up the court. Over to Abby now. Abby's going to throw it back to Johanna. Now over to Destiny Mitchell. Back to Johanna going to bring the ball over to Marissa Raver. Now over to the far corner to Abby. Abby's going to bring it over to Destiny Mitchell at the top of the key. Destiny's going in, is going to bring it over back to Abby. Abby's going to throw it back to Destiny. Destiny's going to bring the ball over to Abby. Abby's going to throw it over to Johanna at the top of the key. Going to bring the ball over to Destiny Mitchell at the far wing. Back to Johanna. Johanna's going to the lower post, but throwing it over to Marissa Reaver. Handing it over back to Johanna now at the close corner. Ball over to Zoe Schwint. But it looks like it is knocked from her hands and is turned over to the Oilers. The Oilers steal it, but it looks like there's a call against number 2, Molly Steiner. Or Steiner, I should say, not Steiner. Ball will remain with the Cougars because she was caught traveling. Johanna throwing the ball all the way over to Abby. Abby is going to throw over to Marissa Reaver now. Back to Destiny Mitchell at the top of the key. Destiny throws it over to Abby once more. Now over to Marissa at the far corner. Over to Destiny Mitchell at the far wing. Back to Marissa. Marissa's going to the top of the key and bringing it over to Abby. Abby throws it back over to Johanna Bauman. Now over to Destiny Mitchell at the far wing. Looks like there's a call against the Oilers. The call is against Kayla Metro. She was caught holding Johanna Bauman. Johanna will be throwing the ball back in for the Cougars. Over to Abby, now back to Johanna. Johanna's going to bring the ball over to Abby, going in for 3 points and just barely missing. Looks like the ball falls out of the court and it is turned over to the Oilers. Number 33, Marlene with the ball, bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to number 2, Molly Steiner. Over to number 10, now Addison going in for 3 points, just barely missing. Molly with the rebound, going to try to also put it in for 2 points, but is no good. Marlene going to with the rebound, also trying for 2 points, but is no good. That is the end of the fourth quarter. Your score is Cougars 20, Central Plains 47. That is the game. We will be back for the Oilers. I can't say it. The male Oilers versus the male Cougars. Back in 15 minutes, folks.
That was the Otis-Bison Pet Band. And welcome to the second game of the night with the Central Plains Whalers and the Otis-Bison Cougars. Let's meet tonight's starters. First up for the Whalers, we have number 2, Aiden Heckle. Next up for the Cougars, we have number 2, Christian Rock. Next up for the Whalers, we have number 11, Peyton Ryan. Next up for the Cougars, we have number 3, Riley Polly. Next up for the Whalers, we have number 23, Evan Strutman. Next up for the Cougars, we have number 11, Easton Juno. Next up for the Whalers, we have number 34, Christopher Frost. Next up for the Cougars, we have number 24, not 24, number 14, Peyton Butler. And last up for the Whalers, we have number 51, Connor Bryant. Last up for the Cougars, we have number 15, Aiden Morrison. The Whalers are coached by Bryce Steiner and assisted by Dan Gundy. The Whalers are, not the Whalers, the Cougars are coached by Curtis Little and assisted by Philip Butler. Good luck to both teams tonight.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the broadcast. Sorry about the delay there. We are now in the second quarter of the guys' game. Your score is Cougars 10, Oilers 14. My bad, 4. The Cougars will be starting off with the ball this time. Peyton throws the ball in to Riley Polly. Riley's going to make his way down the court. Going to throw the ball over to the close wing to Hayden Morrison, back to the top of the key to Riley. Now over to Peyton Butler at the far wing. Peyton's going to throw it all the way to Hayden. Hayden's going to bring it up over to Easton. Not Easton, over to Christian Roth, but it looks like the ball is stolen. Number 11 having the ball. Peyton Ryan bringing the ball up the court. Peyton Ryan's going to try to go for 2 points, but is stopped by the Cougars. Riley with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. But looks like he is caught double dribbling. Turnover to the Oilers. Looks like Peyton Ryan has the ball, having the ball again, bringing it back up the court. Going to bring it over to the top of the key. Going to hand it off to number 21, Joseph. Now over to number 3, Isaiah Ramirez. Riley Polly stealing it, bringing it back down the court, throwing it over to Peyton Butler. Over to Riley again, now back to Peyton at the top of the key. Over to Hayden Morrison at the far corner, going up for 3 points, just barely missing. No, Joseph having the ball, throwing it all the way over to number 11, Peyton Ryan, going in for 3 points, which is good for 3. Peyton Butler having the ball, throwing it over to Riley Polly, making their way back down the court. Over to Peyton Butler now, going over to the lower post and going in for 2 points, but is no good. Riley Polly with the rebound, going to bring it back over to Hayden Morrison. Hayden's also going to try to go for 2 points, but is also no good. Joseph with the ball again, bringing it back down the court, or up the court, I should say. Throwing it over to Peyton Butler, or not Butler, over to Ryan. Now going in for 3 points, which is good for 3 for the Oilers. Peyton Butler with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. Over to Riley Polly now at the lower post. Going in for 2 points, but is no good. Looks like there's a call on the court.
Black 21 was caught blocking.
Ball is up. The first shot is good for a Cougar point. Riley Polly will have one more opportunity to get another point for the Cougars. Ball is up again, and the second shot is no good. Number 11, Peyton Ryan rebounds it. Is going to bring it back up the court. And it looks like there is a call on the court against the Cougars.
White 11 was caught pushing.
Peyton Ryan will be throwing the ball back in. Over to number 3, Isaiah Ramirez. Now back out to number 23, Ivan Strutman. Now back to Peyton Ryan, going in for 3 points, but is no good. Number 23, Ivan Strutman, rebounds the ball and putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Good for 2 points. Hayden Morrison bringing the ball back down, throwing it over to Peyton Butler, going in for 3 points from the top of the key, which is no good. Number 2, Aiden rebounds the ball, bringing it back up the court, but handing it off to Peyton Ryan, making his way up the court, and throwing the ball over to Evan Stratman, going in for 3 points, which is good for 3. Hayden throwing the ball over to Peyton Butler now, but looks like the Cougars call for a timeout.
We will be back in about 30 seconds.
The Cougars and the Oilers return to the court and get ready to play again. 5 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Hayden Morrison will be throwing the ball in to Riley Pauly, making their way back to the Cougar side. Back over to Hayden, but looks like the ball hits his knees and bounce over to Peyton Ryan, bringing the ball over to number 21, Joseph Bunch, and throwing it into number 51, Connor Friss. Sorry if I said that wrong, but looks like there is a call on the court.
That's terrible.
Turnover to the Cougars.
Right in front of you.
Check that. Looks like the ball will remain with the Oilers. Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will be throwing the ball in to number 23, Evan Strutman. He tries putting the ball up, but it looks like there's a call on the court. He will have an opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers.
That call was on number 1 for the Cougars for a holding.
Ball is up. The shot is no good. Evan will have one more opportunity to get a point for the Oilers. Ball is up. The second shot is good for a Oilers point. Logan Meyer throwing the ball into Hayden Morrison. Back over to Riley Pauly now. Riley's going to bring it over to Hayden. Never mind. He's going to bring it down the court. He's going to throw it now over to Hayden. Back over to Riley. Riley's going to bring it down the lower section. Well, looks like there's a call on the court against the Cougars. The refs are discussing what's going on.
From what I could understand of all that, number 3 for the Cougars had a technical foul.
Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers. The first shot is up, and it is good for a Oilers point. Second shot is up, and it is also good for the Oilers. Number 21, Joseph Bunch, will be throwing the ball in for the Oilers. Throwing it to number 3, Isaiah. Isaiah throws it over to Peyton Ryan now. Making his way over to the near side of the court. Now over to number 21, Joseph. Now back to Peyton, going in for 3 points from the top of the key, which is good for 3. Riley Pauly with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. He is going to throw it over to Peyton Butler at the close corner. Now all the way to the other side to Jake. Now over to Riley. Now back over to Peyton once more. Throw it over to Christian Roth, but it's stolen from him. Peyton Ryan with the ball. Now bringing it back up the court. Peyton is going to be found at the top of the key. Going to try to put the ball in the basket for 2 points, but it's no good. Peyton Butler with the ball, now bringing it back down the court. Going to throw it over to Jay Cooper Gardner. Now over to the close corner to Peyton Butler. Going to go in for 3 points, but it's no good. Riley Pauly with the rebound, putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Number 11, Peyton Ryan having the ball, going in for 3 points, which is no good. Peyton Butler with the ball now, bringing it back down the court, but it looks like it is stolen again by Peyton Ryan and handed off to number 21, Joseph Bunchworth, and he puts it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Jay Cooper Gardner with the ball now, bringing it back down the court, throwing it over to Peyton Butler, found at the top of the key. Ball intended for Jake, but is stolen by number 11, Peyton Ryan, going to try to go for 2 points, but is stopped by Peyton Butler. There's a call on the court, though.
Good job, Peyton.
White 14 was caught blocking.
Peyton Butler will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers, but the Oilers call for a timeout. Full. Be back in about a minute. The Oilers return to the court and get ready to play, as well do the Cougars. Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will keep his opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers. Ball is up. The shot is no good. He will have one more opportunity for the Oilers. Ball is up. The second shot is good for the Oilers. Peyton Butler with the ball now, bringing it back down the court, throwing over to Jake Hubengarner, found at the far wing. Jake is going to try to find his options. Bringing it to the top of the key. He throws it over to Hayden Morrison. Now over to Christian Roth. Now back to Hayden at the close wing. He's going in, but it looks like he is caught traveling. Turnover to the Oilers. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Ball is thrown into Peyton Ryan and bringing it back up the court. Found it at the top of the key. Going to throw over to number 2, Aiden, going in for 2 points, but is no good. Looks like he rebounds the ball and he puts it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Jake Hubengarner with the ball now, bringing it back down the court. He's going to throw it over to Easton Juneau, finding himself at the lower post, and he's going to try to go in for 2 points, but there is a call on the court.
Oilers 51 was caught holding.
Easton Juneau will have the opportunity to get a point or two for his team. Ball is up. The first shot is good for a Cougars point. Ball is up. The second shot is also good for another point for the Cougars. Number 3, Isaiah, comes in for number 51, Connor, for the Oilers. Aiden will be throwing the ball in to number 11, Peyton Ryan, bringing the ball back up the court. He is going to be found at the close wing. Looks like there's a call on the court against the Cougars.
Cougars number 15 was caught pushing.
Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Oilers. Ball is up. The first shot is good for the Oilers. Ball is up. Second shot is also good for the Oilers. Peyton Butler throws the ball over to Jake. Now back to Peyton, bringing it back down the court. Found himself near the top of the key, throwing it over to Easton Juneau. Easton's going to go in and try to throw it over to Jake Hubengarner, but it is stolen by the Oilers. Number 11, Peyton Ryan, having the ball, bringing it back up the court. Found himself at the top of the key, going in for 3 points, just barely missing, but there's a call on the court.
White 15 was caught hitting.
Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will have the opportunity to get a point or 3 for his team. First shot is up, and it is no good. Second shot is up, and it's good for the Oilers. He will have one more opportunity for a point for his team. Ball is up. The third shot is good for the Oilers. Peyton Butler throws the ball over to Jake. Now back to Peyton, bringing it back down the court. Gonna hand it. He's gonna bring it to the high post. Ball intended for Hayden Morrison, but is stolen by the Oilers. Number 11, Peyton Ryan with the ball. Now bringing it back up the court. Find himself at the high post and bringing it over to number 23, Evan Stratman, but he is caught traveling. Peyton Butler throws the ball in to Hayden Morrison, bringing it back down the court. Find himself near the top of the key. He's going to bring it over to Peyton Butler, but it nicks his hands, and he throws it. Oh, and Hayden Reed saves it, but he accidentally throws it out of bounds. Turnover to the Oilers. Ball is thrown in to Peyton Ryan. Bringing it back up the court. Going to the closer side of the court, near the close corner, going in for 2 points, but is no good. Call on the court, though.
Not sure what the call was, but it was called on Hayden Morrison, number 15.
Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will have the opportunity to get a point or two for his team. 48 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Ball is up. The first shot is good for a Oilers point. Number 3, Isaiah, comes in for number 34, Christopher Frost. Ball is up. The second shot is good for the Oilers. Ball is thrown over to Jake. Back to Peyton Butler. Now back over to Jake once more. Bringing it back up or down the court, I should say. Finding himself at the top of the key. Over to Christian Roth, but looks like there's a call on the court against the Oilers.
Black 2 was caught holding.
Easton Juneau will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Cougars. Ball is up. The first shot is good for the Cougars. He will have one more opportunity to get a point. Ball is up. The second shot is good for the Cougars. Ball is thrown over to Aiden, but it looks like number 2, Christian Ross, steals it and handing it off to Peyton Butler, putting it in the basket, which is good for 2 points. Number 11, Peyton Ryan with the ball, now bringing it back up the court. Hayden Morrison trying to stop him there. Now Christian Roth is, but it looks like there's a call on the court against the Cougars.
White 2 was caught blocking.
Number 11, Peyton Ryan, will have the opportunity to get a point or two for the Cougars, for the Oilers. Ball is up. The shot is good for the Oilers. He will have one more opportunity. Ball is up. The second shot is good for the Oilers. Peyton Butler with the ball, now bringing it back down the court, throwing it over to Jake Hoopengarner, finding himself at the far wing. Bring it now at the top of the key. He's going to throw the ball over to Easton, not Easton, but over to Hayden, but it looks like the ball, he accidentally kicks the ball out of the court, and it is now turned over to the Oilers. Peyton Ryan with the ball now, throwing it over to Joseph Bunch. Now over to number 2, Aiden, going in for 2 points, but it's no good, it looks like. That is the end of the first half. Your score is Cougars 19, Oilers 34. Be back in about 10 minutes for the second half. Welcome back to the second half of the game. Looks like the ball will be starting with the Cougars. Riley Pauly's starting with it, and then he's throwing it over to Hayden over to Peyton. Now back to Riley at the top of the key. Hey, Riley's going to throw it over to Peyton. Peyton's going to throw it back to Riley. Now over to Hayden Morrison at the close corner. Now over to Easton Juno at the low post, going for 3 points, but it's no good. Peyton Butler with the ball now, but it hits his leg and it bounced away from him. That is number 11 with the ball now. Peyton Ryan going in for 3 points, but is no good. Peyton Butler with the ball now, bringing it back up the court. He is going to throw the ball over, intended for Logan Meyer, but it does not. Not Logan Meyer, over for Easton Juno, but is no good. Stolen by the Oilers. Number 32 now, Evan Strotman with the ball, going in for 2 points, but is no good. Looks like there's a call on the court against the Cougars.
Number 11 was caught pushing.
Number 11 for the Oilers, Peyton Ryan, will be throwing the ball back in. Throwing it over to number 51, Connor Freiss. Now over to Peyton Ryan again, going in for 3 points, but it is ended as good. Jacob Gardner throwing the ball over to Riley Pauly. Now over to Hayden Morrison at the far wing. Going to bring it over back to Riley Pauly at the top of the key. Riley Pauly is going to throw it over to Jake Gardner. Back to Riley, but is stolen by number 21, Joseph Bunch. He puts it up and it is good for 2 points. Riley Pauly with the ball now. Bringing it back up the court. He's going to throw it over to Jacob Gardner, going in for 3 points from the close wing, but is no good. Not Cougars, but the Oilers with the ball now. Number 22, it looks, not number 22, number 11, Peyton Ryan with the ball, bringing it back down the court, throwing it over to number 21. Jake Gardner with the ball now after the. Looks like Abby and Marissa Reaver will be taking over the stream from here.
So we have a timeout. You had to go to Stuka or SAD.
We haven't been here all day, so you want to talk about cheesecake again?
We've gotten a lot of comments about that.
Yeah. They asked questions. It's not good. It'll be Oilers ball, number 23, Evan Stratman, passing the ball to number 11, Peyton Ryan. He'll pass it over to number
There's
Number
a foul
2.
called on number 15, Hayden Morrison.
We got Aiden Hakili shooting too. His first no good.
Easton Juno, number 11, with the rebound. Passes number 3, Riley Pauly, bringing the ball down. Riley passes to number 1, Jake Garner, back to Riley Pauly. There's a foul called on number 11, Peyton Ryan. Here's white ball. Number 15, Hayden Morrison, passing the ball in. Number 3, Riley Pauly, bringing the ball down the court. Riley passing it to number 15, Hayden Morrison. Hayden
11, Peyton Ryan with the steal. He'll pass over to number 21, Joseph Bunch. Over to number 23, Evan Stratman.
Number 14, Peyton Butler with the rebound for the Cougars, bringing the ball down the court. Pass to number 1, Jake Kupengarner. Jake back to Peyton. Peyton to Easton Juno. Easton Juno with the shot. Shot's no good. Number 15, Hayden Morrison with the rebound. Oilers get the ball.
51, Connor Freeze grabs that. Peyton Ryan will bring down the ball. Pass over to 23, Evan Stratman. Over to 2, Hakili. He goes for 3, no good.
Number 15, Hayden Morrison with the rebound. Pass to number 14, Peyton Butler, who brings the ball down. Passes to Jake. Jake with the 3. Three's good.
Number 23, Evan Stratman passing the ball to number 21, Joseph Bunch. Back over to Evan Stratman. Into Aiden. Over to 21, Joseph Bunch for 3. It's good.
Number 3, Riley Pollard bringing the ball down for the Cougars. Riley goes up for a layup. Layup's no good. There's a push called. Number 15, Hayden Morrison. Number 21, Logan Meyer coming in for Hayden Morrison.
We'll have 21, Joseph Bunch passing the ball for the Oilers. Pass over to number 2, Aiden, over to Peyton. Pass over to 21, Joseph Bunch, inside to 51, Connor Freeze. 21, Joseph Bunch, over to 23, Evan Stratman for 3. It's good.
Number 1, Jake Kubengarner passes it to number 14, Peyton Butler, who brings the ball down, passes it back to Jake. Jake back to Peyton. Peyton to Easton. Easton dribbles in, kicks it out to Jake, shoots a 3. Shot's no good. There's a foul call on number 23 from Central Plains, Evan Stratman. Number 1, Jake Kupengarner gets the ball. Passes to number 14, Peyton Butler. Peyton to Logan. Foul's called. Number 23, Evan Stratman. Number 14 passes it into number 11. Shot's no good. Number 14 passing the ball in for the Cougars. Passes it to number 14, Peyton Butler, shoots a layup, floater shot, and the shot's good. There seems to be some problems with the scoreboard.
We had the same issue last time, actually. The clock wouldn't work.
Peyton.
The scoreboard won't work. Yeah. So, Abby, what do you think? It always happens during the boys varsity, too.
Actually, I have never been here when it happened. My first time experiencing a broken scoreboard.
Really? It happened last home game, actually. They thought about using just a stopwatch on the clock, or a watch.
Okay. Looks like they got it working now.
Maybe that should be our next investment.
New scoreboards.
Yes.
We should get those that show like the player and then like it shows like number fouls and
Yeah.
those points and stuff.
We'll have Lila break it again.
Oh boy.
21, Joseph Bunch passing the ball for the Oilers. Over 11, Peyton Ryan. Skip pass over number 3 as Isaiah Ramirez. Over to 21, Joseph Bunch. Back over to 3, Isaiah. Out to 2, Aiden.
Number 14 with the steal goes up for a layup. 14, Peyton Butler. Layup's good.
21, Joseph Bunch. Over number 2, Aiden. Skip pass over to 51, Connor Freeze. He goes up 2, no good. Gets his own rebound, but travels.
Number 14, Peyton Butler passing the ball in for the Cougars. Number 3, Riley Pauly bringing the ball down for the Cougars. Riley passes it to Jake. Jake to Peyton. Back to Riley. Riley back to Peyton. Peyton to Logan Meyer. There's a foul called. Number 2 from the Oilers, Aiden Heakley.
Heakley? I'm not sure.
Peyton Butler passing the ball in for the Cougars. Pass it to Easton Juno. Easton's in with a shot. Shot's no good.
21, Joseph Bunch with the rebound. Pass over to Peyton Ryan. Pass over to Connor Freeze. Back to Peyton Ryan. He drives and goes for 2, and it's good.
Number 14 with the ball. Pass it to Riley Pauly. Riley with the 3. 3 is good.
We got Peyton Ryan bringing down the ball for the Oilers. Pass over to 21, Joseph Bunch. Into number 2, Aiden. Over to number 3, Isaiah. Back out to Peyton Ryan for 3. It's no good. Over the back on number 3, Isaiah Ramirez.
There's been a timeout called on Cougars. 30-second timeout.
29 to 49. Minute 46 left in the third. It's kind of loud in here.
It is. So coming out of the 30-second timeout is white ball. Riley Pauly bringing the ball down. Passes it to Jake Garner. Jake back to Riley. Riley looks for a shot, passes it back to Jake. Jake dribbles in, passes it to Riley. Riley drives in. Shot's no good.
Number 2, Aiden with the rebound. Pass to Peyton Ryan. Pass over to number 3, Isaiah for 3. No good.
Easton Juno with the rebound. Pass it to Peyton Butler. Dribbles down. Shoots a 3. 3's no good.
I have 21, Joseph Bunch with the rebound. Peyton Ryan bringing down the ball. Pass out to number 2, Aiden. Back to Peyton Ryan. He shoots 3, no good.
Number 1, Jake Garner with the rebound. Brings the ball down. Pass it to Peyton Butler. Back to Jake. Jake back to Peyton. To Riley Pauly. Riley Pauly drives in and kicks it back out to number 1, Jake Hoopengarner. Jake drives in, kicks it back out to number 14, Peyton Butler. Peyton Butler with the layup. Layup is good.
21, Joseph Bunch passing the ball to Peyton Ryan. Skip pass over number 3, Isaiah, into Connor, up 2.
Number 14, Peyton Butler bringing the ball down. Pass it to number 2, Christian Roth. Loses the ball. Easton gets the ball. Then he gets fouled. Now he's shooting 2. He gets fouled by number 3, Aiden Kuechly. Sorry. It's like the number switched on me. Easton's first free throw is good. His second free throw is no good.
Peyton Ryan with the fast break, he launches it. Almost makes it, no good. That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been pretty cool.
It would have been pretty cool, yeah.
So that is the end of third quarter. Otis-Bison 32, Central Plains 51.
Maybe we need some new food to talk about. We always talk about
some what?
cheesecake. Some new food.
New topics.
Yeah.
Enchiladas. What kind of enchiladas do you like, Marissa?
What?
What kind of enchiladas do you like?
Enchiladas?
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them?
All of
okay,
them.
but do you prefer like red or green enchiladas?
Or what?
Green or red?
Red. The green?
Like red with chicken or red with...
Chicken, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I see. I like the green ones with chicken. Or the red ones with...
The green, like the green sauce I put on them, I don't really like that. Like
You just
sometimes they
haven't
have
had the right
extra.
sauce, Marissa.
The
You
right-
need, you
no,
need the right sauce.
The right sauce, okay.
Like, you need the right sauce.
What kind of sauce do you put on them?
I don't know. Ask my mom.
Okay,
She makes it.
I will. We're passing to Peyton Ryan. Pass over to 34, Christopher Frost. They'll both hold on to the ball and travel.
Number 14 passing the ball in for the Cougars. Number 3, Riley Pauly bringing the ball down. Passes it to number 14, Peyton Butler to Jake Hoopengarner. Back to Peyton Butler. Peyton to Riley Pauly. Riley kicks it out to Peyton Butler. Butler up to Easton. Easton loses the ball. Looks like they hit it or something. Anyways, it's on the floor. I don't know if there was a foul or not, but it's on the floor. Peyton Butler passing the ball in, pass it to Easton Juno. Easton Juno, Christian Roth to Jake. Jake back to Christian Roth. Christian Roth to Riley Pauly. Peyton Butler ends up with the ball. Shoots a 3. 3's not good. Ball goes out of bounds on white. So now it's black ball.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was going in. It's close.
I thought it was going in. It was perfectly lined up.
Yeah. From this angle.
Yeah.
We'll have 21 Joseph Bunch passing the ball over to Peyton Ryan. Peyton almost stole it from Peyton.
That's a knee slapper.
Joseph Bunch passing in the ball. Pass over to 23. That was cool.
Okay,
That was really
I'm sorry.
cool.
I was like so excited watching. I didn't even say what happened.
But yeah,
Basically,
Peyton.
Easton got a steal. Peyton got it, then a shot.
Yeah, it
Pass
was
it to
good.
Logan Meyer.
Alley-oop.
It was.
Alley-oop.
It was.
That was really cool.
I will make it my first priority now to
We will do that
to
again.
mention.
Next game, you'll see me and Ab. No. I'm kidding. Oh, Peyton Ryan passing the ball. Five seconds call. Oh, no, they called a 30-second timeout first.
We got 6 minutes and 47 seconds left. Honestly,
34 to
I feel like
51.
if we play how we just been playing in this fourth quarter, we
We
got a good chance.
can at least catch up. Maybe not.
Yeah.
We can actually. The 50-50.
If we just score on offense and like play some amazing defense,
Exactly.
we got this.
You know, I wish the fans were as loud for their game as they were, or I mean, our game as they were for this game.
Yeah, that was a loud game.
I almost feel like it's louder now that more people have left. It's kind of weird. Peyton Ryan passing.
Peyton Butler with a steal, dribbling down the court, goes up for a layup. Layup's no good, but he's shooting two. Fouls called on number 21, Joseph Bunch. Peyton's first free throw is no good.
Rebound, Buck.
Second free throw is also no good.
Rebound by Joseph Bunch. Pass over to Peyton Ryan, who will bring down the ball. Go up for two, and it's good.
Number 3, Riley Polley bringing the ball down. Riley passes to number 14, Peyton Butler. Payne goes up for a layup. Layup's no good. Rebounded by number 2, Christian Roth. Christian passes it back to Peyton Butler. Almost goes out of bounds, gets saved, and goes out of bounds.
It'll be
And-
Whaler ball. I'm kind of surprised about that because he jumped out and threw it at him and bounced off him.
Yeah.
I don't know whose foot was down though. Peyton Ryan bringing down the ball for the Oilers. He goes up for two, is no good.
Number 14, Peyton Butler with the rebound, brings the ball down. Passes it to number 11, Easton Juno. Easton Juno with 2 points.
Peyton Ryan bringing down the ball. He launches it down the court to number 3, Isaiah.
And number 21, Logan Meyer with the steal. Passes to number 14, Peyton Butler. To Christian Roth. Back to Peyton. Riley Polley with the 3, no good.
23, Evan Stratman with that rebound. We have Peyton Ryan bringing down the ball. We have full timeout called by the Oilers.
They're definitely playing a better fourth quarter.
They are. Oh yeah, he's mad. He slammed the clipboard.
I think he broke it, unless that was already there. Anyways.
You have 5:11 left. They're actually in the bonus. Only one bonus light works. Well, we're in the bonus. That's what I meant.
I was going to say, that's not good.
They have the wrong bonus light on that side.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They have the red, the B on our side lit, but the green arrow on their side lit. They have this side right.
Well,
Kind of.
you know, let's just look at this one.
Yeah, we'll just look at this one. This one's right.
You know what would really slap right now?
What?
Some Sonic. You know, I'm really feeling like a cherry limeade.
Cherry lemon.
Like a large cherry limeade.
Are you gonna put nerds in it?
Large. Yes. Okay.
Joseph Bunch passing to Peyton Ryan.
Might have to make a trip to Sonic.
Pass over to number 2, Aiden. Back to Peyton Ryan. Oh, bounce off number 23's hand, Evan Stratman. It's tying his shoe.
Riley Polly again tying his shoe. It was the other shoe though.
Yeah, it was the shoe. We have Peyton Ryan passing in the ball. We'll have number 3, Isaiah Ramirez, take that 3. No good.
Number 14, Peyton Butler with the rebound, brings the ball down the court. Pass it to number 2, Christian Roth. Back to Peyton. Peyton to Riley. Riley back to Peyton. Riley dribbles in, kicks out to number 2, Christian Roth. Christian Roth goes up for a layup. Layup's no good. Number 11, Easton Juno with the rebound. Goes up. There's a foul call, and she's 2-2. Foul on number 51, Connor Freeze. I almost said fries. Easton's first free throw is good.
No, their coach was really trying to get a jump ball call on that. Actually, the other day at our last game, we had a assistant coach get a technical.
We did, yeah. Second free throw is also good.
21, Joseph Bunch pass in to number 23, Evan Stratman.
That was a good trap right there.
Pass over 21, Joseph Bunch. Back to 23, Evan Stratman. They'll call it push on that one. I think that one's on Peyton. We'll have Peyton Ryan passing the ball. They'll lob into number 2, Aiden. We'll have another foul called on Peyton. Oh, never mind. That one's on Jake. His first good. His second also good.
Number 1, Jake Hubengarner bringing the ball down for the Cougars. Pass it to Peyton. Peyton back to Jake, to Riley Polly. Riley back to Jake. Jake back to Riley. Riley back to Jake. Jake to Easton. Easton goes up, loses the ball, gets the ball again. Shoots it. No good.
Joseph Bunch with that rebound. Pass to Peyton Ryan. He'll lob it over to 21 Joseph. Yeah, Peyton Ryan with the ball.
This is some aggressive defense here. All right, Peyton Butler with the steal, bringing the ball down. Pass it to number 3, Riley Polly. Riley Polly goes up for a layup. Layup's good.
That was kind of cool.
That was pretty good.
Joseph Bunch pass in to number 23, back to Joseph. And he'll pass it back to himself. Over to Peyton Ryan. .23 Evan Stratman. Over to Peyton Ryan. He lowered his shoulder. They called the charge on number 11, Peyton Ryan. I saw that one coming. Everyone saw him push off. Got some angry fans over here.
Peyton with the ball up top, passes to number 1, Jake Kuppengartner. Jake with three's no good. Ball goes out of bounds.
It'll be black ball.
15 points.
15 points. 2.5 minutes. It's possible.
It is
Very
possible.
possible. Wow, Joseph Bunch passing the ball. Oh, holding.
This is third, I believe.
Was that on Peyton?
Yeah. Peyton Butler with the foul.
Joseph Bunch passing the ball. We'll have number 3, Isaiah Ramirez. Bounces off Christian's leg.
They're calling not a foul, but I saw no hands.
Yeah, me neither. It was just off his leg. We have Joseph Bunch passing the ball. Ball pass over to Peyton Ryan. I believe they're calling a block on Peyton again. That'll be his 4th.
If you watch both girls and boys, when you pressure them with defense, they get mad.
They get very mad. We'll have Peyton Ryan shooting 2. 1. His first one's good. He'll shoot another.
During the girls' game, this girl was guarding. She kept pushing me off and yelling at me to get off.
So that's nice. His second's also good. Peyton Ryan with that steal. Over to number 2, Aiden. Back to Peyton. He'll go up for 2. It's no good. Connor Freeze with the rebound. Pass out to 21, Joseph. Pass over number 2, Aiden. Ooh, that was a definite travel. They both had hold of that ball, but they won't call that. They'll call
There's
the
a foul
foul.
called. Number 3, Riley Pauly, shooting 1-on-1.
It'll be Peyton Ryan shooting. First is good.
I wonder why number 5 for the Oilers, Hunter Klima, isn't playing.
Second one's good.
Number 14, Peyton Butler, bringing the ball down for the Cougars. Pass to number 11, Easton Juno, loses the ball. It is now Oilers' ball.
Joseph pass to Ryan. Pass to Aiden. He drives up, goes up 2, no good.
Jake Kuppengartner with the rebound, bringing the ball down the court. Jake passes it to Peyton Butler, Peyton or Riley. Riley shoots a 3. 3's no good.
Doing Connor with that rebound, pass to Peyton Ryan. 50 seconds left on the shot clock. That'll be Riley's 5th foul. He will be out. Now, I feel like our last game, they were giving out texts like no other. They gave one to the assistant ref and one to Destiny.
They're just giving out tees.
Yeah. I think they said something like there's been...
T-shirts, like
Yeah, tees.
tees, like technical.
They said something about having one tech almost every game this year.
Oh.
Peyton Ryan's no good.
Number 14, Peyton Butler bringing the ball down for the Cougars. Pass it to number 2, Christian Roth. Christian back to Peyton. Peyton passes to number 21, Logan Meyer. Logan
And
Meyer
one.
with 2 points. And 1. Black, 51, Connor Fries.
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 If you want to call him that.
He has the letters for Fries. First free throw is good.
Just like
first
I have
and
the letters for Revere. I could,
Revere.
misspell my name. Joseph Bunch passing to Peyton Ryan. Back to Joseph. Back to Peyton. He launches it down the court to Connor. Lob pass back to Peyton. Gonna just hold the ball up in the corner. If it were me, I would take my sweet time. Just dribbling back and forth between the volleyball line.
Good job, Black. Good job.
And that is the game.
43-59 Oilers. All of them had at least 3 fouls. I'm not even gonna lie.
This was an aggressive game.
It
Yeah.
was. Our game was pretty aggressive too. We had girls
Yeah.
throwing girls around.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Well, here commentating for the varsity boys second half was,
It was great. I wish we could have done the first half too, but
yeah.
we forgot we signed up for some sad stuff.
So we had to sell some tickets. By the
Yeah.
way, you can buy some.
Yeah, next game.
$1 for a ticket, or you can get 6 tickets for $5, which seems like a bargain to me.
It is a bargain. And you can win some cool stuff like tickets to the Sternberg Museum, the zoo, all sorts. I still think we should be sponsored at some point.
By McDonald's.
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 Sonic would be cool
Because
too.
like half of Otis-Bison works at Sonic.
That is very true. Okay, well, I guess we will leave that there.
Yep. Here commentating was Mercer Reaver and Abigail Rodriguez
One day sponsored by McDonald's
and Sonic.
and Sonic. Yeah, we're good.
Have a good night.